Hey guys, it's Minas, and I'm going to give a Raw episode review. This is, I think, if I'm not mistaken, episode 4 of Raw, and then I'm gonna give NXT as well, another episode review. So we will start first with, on Raw, where CM Punk challenged AJ Styles, which is already been determined because AJ talks about, you know, his, I guess, retirement match, regardless if he didn't win against Gunther at the Royal Rumble. Punk comes in and then address that we're gonna have a main event, which is already been scheduled for the World Heavyweight Champion between Punk versus Styles. Then after that, we get to a six-woman tag team match. So you got the all-stars of Stephanie Baker, Rhea Ripley, and Io Sky, which is like kind of a bit unfair, versus the Judgment Day, Raquel, Roxanne, and then Liv, which ends up in a way that with this type of match that they started off, it was good, but ended up in a way that the Team All Stars of the champions, you know, take the victory. Follow this, we get a segment between Adam Pearce, apologize to Braun Breaker and the Vision, knowing that it is now declared that Braun Breaker, Logan Paul, Bronson Reed, and then Austin Theory is now in the Rumble. I thought that Paul Heyman was also mentioned that, okay, we'll put you in the Rumble as well. But there you go. After that, it is also announced that they will have Austin Theory versus Rey Mysterio, in which Austin Theory beats Rey Mysterio in this match. But, during the match, we kind of noticed that Rey is favoring his knee and arguably could be injured once again in his knee. At the same time, they kind of called in that Rey is going to be, you know, I'm not sure how his medical is going to be okay for him to participate for the Royal Rumble, but I hope that Ray will be, have a speedy recovery and then we could at least see him, continue to wrestle in the future. But yeah, the Vision laid waste against the Luchadors, Penta, and then Dragon Lee, which is crazy though to think because I think that, last week on Raw, we kind of noticed that the Vision was already at that point, supposedly one was banned, the other one or suspended. The other guys were like, okay, what are we gonna do next? Or some parts. And then what happened was is that Adam Pearce, because he contacted his phone whoever's that higher being, because most people would say it would be Brock Lesnar, which is kind of make a lot of sense if it's Brock, because he had history with Adam Pearce during SmackDown about the moose called Adam, and that's basically what you get. But unless if there is a higher being that we may not know, and then later on we kind of figure it out, okay, so this person works with the Vision, then that goes to show that yeah, at this point, the Vision right now in this night kind of dominant once again, which is a same thing that we see a couple of times in the past few weeks. After that, we get to a number one contenders for a tag team, Raw tag team, sorry, or the uh, WWE World or the World Tag Team Champions. So honestly, this match is kind of a bit like I don't know. It's like it's somewhere along the lines that I don't know if how I feel about this match because despite that Alpha Academy beats the New Day, uh, American Made, and Los Americanos, it's like the tag division is actually not that, alive. And here's the thing, because, you know, you got Penta on Raw, you got Ray Phoenix on SmackDown. You can bring back the Lucha Brothers, but for some reason, I don't know when are they going to, decide to team up, especially put them in the Raw division. knowing that the tag team division right now is kind of bit like, it is what it is. And I feel like if they're going to take this seriously in the men's, because for some reason they take it seriously in the women's, they had to start building this team in a proper way. You can't just rely so much on the singles and all that. You need to do something with it, you know? And congrats to Alpha Academy. Hopefully that, to be fair though, hopefully that they're gonna have a good match against the Usos, but we have to be honest. I don't think they're gonna win the tag team champions. It'll be surprising if they beat the Usos, but it would make a lot of sense to be fair. If they somehow, some way they kind of beat them. But it goes to show that yeah, the tag team division is dead, but I hope that they're gonna, make use of it. Especially on SmackDown, we also think that the tag team division is also dead because first of all, Johnny doesn't have Tommaso Ciampa, so no DIY. And what is this? Fraxium, Nathan Frazier, and then Axiom is now focused on Johnny, which supposedly they should be in a tag team in this situation, but now the MFTs are the SmackDown or the WWE Tag Team Champions, which is like it is what it is. But honestly, I hope that they're going to fix it. This tag team division. I know they're gonna merge it again someday, but we don't know when. And then we get to the main event. So CM Punk versus AJ Styles. This match honestly was good, but it ends up with another interference when we get this over and over again in the past few matches throughout the years. So first of all, the match between AJ and CM Punk was good because, they did whatever they could. You know, this is all about two guys who built themselves back then during their days in the indies to get to becoming the biggest stars of each respective companies at one point. And then this is the match for the World Heavyweight Championship. Arguably, people would say that this could be AJ Styles' last match on Raw, but unfortunately, he didn't get the win because, it ended up in an interference by Finn Balor. So Punk not only won by disqualification, but he also retains. And at that moment, yeah, we kind of noticed that Finn Balor kind of, wants to make a statement because earlier on that, you know, situation, Finn Balor demanded to be part of the Royal Rumble, but he was too late, which is kind of a bit, odd. So basically, you were given as the competitor for this championship match last week, only to, at that point, you know, getting in a situation of not being part of the Rumble, which is kind of messed up. There's a possibility that Finn is going to attack someone at the Rumble just to get their spot. It's gonna happen. Unless if they're planning something big for him, more than just being in the Rumble, who knows? And that's basically your Raw. Honestly, not really that much, you know, I wouldn't say it's not that, you know, worth to watch that much in this week, but it was alright. But honestly, the main event kind of, carried the show for a bit. The women's six-woman tag team match was also okay, but the rest is like, it's alright. Then we'll go to NXT. And you guys, we're gonna continue with NXT. So first in NXT, we got the situation that happened backstage with the Vanity Project. I think they're the ones who kind of brutally assault Joe Hendry. I'm not sure if it's them, but it's like, this could be another mystery or whatever, but I understood that if I remember, I think Joe Hendry and Jackson Drake's going to compete for the qualifying match, so I think they did whatever they could to rid off Joe Hendry. But yeah, um, Jackson Drake is officially part of the qualifying, or sorry, the NXT ladder match that's happening next week. But at the same time, if Joe is 100% clear, he's going to compete. So we kind of figured out that Joe's going to be part. So instead of a six-man, it became a seven-man. After that, we start first with our first matchup. NXT Tag Team Champions Dark State defend their championships against OTM. Honestly, OTM kind of destroyed them. And it was like insane that they're ready to become the next tag team champs, but of course Dark State retains because of the interference of Vanity Project leading up to the tag teams like Hanky Tank and the rest until we get the calling, you know, attacked the Dark States members to stood tall that yes, this tag team, honestly, the NXT tag team division is way better than the Raw tag team. Let's be for real. I think it's because, the Raw tag teams weren't built as properly compared to what the NXT has to offer. So I honestly think that Sean did a good job that he booked NXT properly in terms of the tag team division compared to what Raw has, which is like insane. And then after that, we get to a one-on-one match. This is for the men who is having a good Wednesday night, which is Jada Parker versus Nikita Lyons, but Jada Parker wins the match. And honestly, it's one of those things that you got two of the, I don't know, some people would say thick type of women that finds a way to, you know, do whatever they could to know who's the dominant woman between the two, but it ends up being Jada Parker, of course. Honestly, this is a way that Jada's already ready, especially people chanted Miss Parker on the team. People were speculating, okay, she deserves to be in the main roster at this point, but who knows. Next one is Dion Lennox versus Miles Bourne, another qualifying match. And Dion Lennox basically beats Miles Bourne by the help of, or maybe the distraction of Ethan Page, because of course, like he's playing devil's advocate, like he gave him the NXT North American Championship. Of course, the ref saw it, and it's kind of distracted Miles to beat Lennox. So you basically had another guy that from Dark State, arguably the leader, is going to do whatever he can to win the NXT Championship next week. Which is also, by the way, the match is good so far. There's no complaints. Matches were alright. The next match we have is Lexis King defeated Tavian Heights. So I guess this is just a grudge match, I guess. But the thing is that the thing is about this match, despite that you got TNA International Champion Stacks and then Ariana Grace in ringside, you know, this is one of those things that it happens. Tavion takes the loss again, and yeah, this match doesn't, have anything to do, just maybe a grudge match, and that's all. After that, we get to another match. Zarya beats Thea Hale, which, well, to be fair though, I think that, well, not really Zarya. I'm trying to read it in the WWE.com, but it was Thea Hale that beat Zarya. So my bad for that one. So Thea Hale beats Zarya, and with the assist, I think, for the distraction of Tatum Paxley that attacked EC Dave, and then basically, yeah, Zarya lost, Thea won by surprise with a roll up, and then after that, you got the Fatal Influence appeared, Callum Henley, and then, you know, um, I forgot the other woman's name. Laney Rain, sorry. Laney Rain and then Fallon Henley come by, and then after that, Dia thought that we're gonna team up with Zarya, but ends up with the F5 to, you know, to know that yeah, she was frustrated because she lost the match, but at the same time she's not willing to team up with the person that she got beat. After that, we get to a main event. This is another or the last the ladder match qualifying for the NXT Championship, Keanu Carver versus Andre Chase. I thought that, it's funny though because I thought that Chase U is already no longer exists. It's still on, I think, for some reason. Despite that, it's so odd because um I forgot who is this guy, but he beated Andre Chase that Chase U is no longer exists. I think it's Ridge Holland, I think. And it's kind of crazy that Rich got released instead of Chase, or instead of Andre Chase, which is crazy. So yeah, And till this day, I don't know when is Chase is gonna be back again because it's like they want us to forget what happened, move on. But we already knew that it was a odd decision making to the point that once the person who beats Chase, Andre Chase wasn't there anymore, they decided, you know what, we'll continue a little bit. I don't know, but yeah, Keanu gets the win, dominant fashion. He almost, at the same time, he kind of break Andre Chase's face as well, which is crazy. And after that, we get to a last segment, which is you know, all the competitors for next week. And then at the same time, it starts with Ricky Saints bringing a ladder with a nice shot on the camera on the picture here, but knowing that Ricky Saints got the ladder, climbs up, talk about whatever he has to say to his competitors. Then there's a brawl started. After that, Ricky trying to go in and tries to get the NXT Championship that was hang above the ring, followed by Joe Hendry, who basically, got hurt during the beginning of the show. So he appears and he gave a standing ovation to Ricky Saints, followed by Keanu Carver once again, dominating being the last man standing. So they kind of, for some reason, people kind of call him the Tamo Obafemi now. So now this is a situation that's going to happen for next week. If Joe Hendry is cleared, this is going to be a 7-man for the NXT Championship ladder match. And at the same time, we got some good show in NXT. This doesn't disappoint me over Raw. There were some matches that kind of bit like, it was alright. But overall, I think NXT became a better show for Raw this week, which is crazy. And yeah, that's basically, I'm gonna give my review for the both shows. So, what I'm looking for next week is the NXT Championship match. Who's gonna be the new champion? It also found out that it involved, for some reason, you know, there's going to be a handicap for the Evolve Championship. So Jackson Drape may going to lose the belt because he's been champion for a long time. So he's gonna drop the belt. Who knows? And we're gonna see a lot of tag team action and more other feuds to go for next week for NXT. For Raw, on the other hand, this will be Philadelphia. It's also announced that we're gonna have a Philadelphia street fight between Stephanie Baker versus Raquel Rodriguez. So we're gonna see that, and hopefully we'll get as well the number one, or sorry, the tag team match between Alpha Academy versus the Usos. Jimmy wasn't around for some reason. Maybe it had to do with some trouble issues or maybe the records in the past. But that's basically it based on my review for both shows. I'm looking forward to see who's gonna be the next NXT champion, and that's basically it. Again, guys, thank you for watching. We will see each other in the next episode. I'm looking forward to make a review for SmackDown. So yeah, thank you for watching, guys. We'll see each other in the next episode. Peace.